Hi everyone, welcome back to our highlights from the permanent collection series. It's a little different today because I'm going to be talking to you from my home, but nonetheless we're going to be taking a look at a handful of pieces from the Eisenstadt Collection. Let's go ahead and get started. So the group of items that I have today are all Russian enamelware from the late 19th century, so late 1800s, Victorian era. And what's fun for me about these pieces is not only are they beautiful, but I actually took some metalsmithing classes in college, and so I can guess at how the construction went. And basically, for this cigarette and match holder case, what would have happened is sheets of metal would have been measured out and put over forms and then pressurized to the shape of the forms, and that would have resulted in these clamshell shapes. After that, I'm assuming this design that you see here would have been etched into the metal. So it would have been chemically treated to kind of create these negative spaces. And then after that, the enamel, which is all of these colors that you see, would have been placed carefully in these negative spaces. And all enamel is basically kind of a powdered glass, and different pigments can be added to it to get these colors. So all of the enamel would have been placed in powdered form in the areas, and then it would have been baked at a certain temperature, at which point the glass powder would have heated and melted out into the colors that you see before. After that point, I think the last thing that would have happened was the hinges would have been put on both of these cases, so that they can, become used as boxes is how they were intended. So as I mentioned before, these other items are also Russian enamelware, but the process for creating them would have gone a little bit differently. If you take a look at the handles of the spoons, I'm assuming those would have actually been created through the process of lost wax cast. So basically, the spoon handles would have been created and carved out of a wax, and then they would have been encased into a sort of brick form with encased in clay into a sort of brick form with a hole placed somewhere in the brick. In the process of heating this clay and creating the brick, the wax would have melted out of the hole, and then that would have resulted in a mold. And how we did it when I was in school basically is that, we placed a heated melted metal in this kind of slingshot mechanism. And from the centripetal force, the heated metal in liquid form would have been slingshot into this brick mold. And then, over time it would have cooled and set. And then you break the clay around it, and then that results in the spoon handle. I think the actual concave convex basin of the spoon would have been created in the same way that I talked about with the cigarette case, and then it would have been soldered onto the spoon handle. Today, instead of a demo, we actually have a friend of mine to talk to us, Aria Agarwal. She's a friend from college, and we took some metalsmithing classes while we were there. And now she's a full-blown gemologist and jewelry designer with her own business, and she's going to be showing us some of her sketches, some of her works in progress, and some of her finished pieces.
Hey guys, I'm Aria and I am the owner and designer at Eleux. I design one-of-a-kind gemstone fine jewelry, and today I thought it would be fun to give you a small studio tour and just talk to you about my creative process. So let's get into it. Over here I have my stencils when I'm doing technical drawings and need to do measurements and such. And this is my sketchbook, so I sketch out my collection before it's released. So as you can see here, I put which type of hook I want, which type of prong style, so double claw prong, Molly garnets, and then to have the gold wire coming up top, Jasper cabochon here, and double prongs throughout. So I send this information to my jeweler, and he sets the stones and works his magic from there. And over here, this is my gemstone collection. So this is just sort of where things come together. I have been collecting these gemstones for a couple of years now. So as you can see, these are really fun. They're little mini baby geodes. So I use these a lot in my collection. I think they're really cute. And a bunch of loose stones, and I just play with them and move them around to different projects and just see how I like them over time. This is a piece that I've been working on for a while. So here, these three down the middle are Trapezie emeralds, and this is green tourmaline, and these little round green ones are Savarite garnets. I really love this design. If I am not sure about a design just yet, I tend to do something like this and do one half of one design choice and one half of the other one, and just let it sit here and see which one I like better. So I'm still not sure about that one. And over here, these pieces are more of the finished pieces. So this one is completed. I'm just not sure of which type of metal I want to use, so I have both paired up next to it so I can decide. This is opalized wood, bicolor tourmaline, and gray spinel. So for this design, I started with this piece, with this opalized wood, and I matched the colors within this gem. So I love this like minty seafoam green and the grays, so that is why I chose to use these two pieces with this design. Over here, this design I've been working on for a while as well. So at first I was deciding if I wanted to keep this oval in the middle or do something a little more intricate. I'm leaning more towards this one to kind of switch it up a little bit. So what I did here, again I started with this gemstone here, so this is malachite, and from there I found gemstones that are in a similar color scheme, and I just designed around it. So how this works is something like this. So this is the design we have. Alright, so we have black moonstone right here, and this is green tourmaline, and then white moonstone. And so this part is what's going to go in this setting with that drop. So that's how I have that design. So I would send this piece off to my jeweler just like this, give him a sketch, and once they are done, they turn into gorgeous pieces of jewelry. So these are all finished earrings, and that is just a little bit into how I work.
Thanks so much to Aria for sharing her work with us as a practicing jeweler. I want to go ahead and take a few moments to chat with you about the next several videos that we have planned for highlights. Mac and I will be talking about artifacts that we have in the collection that were actually a part of an exhibition that was done at the Dishman from around late January to early March of 2019. The exhibition was curated by myself, and it was called Out of Africa, and it featured over 40 different pieces that we have from various regions of West Africa. Mac and I felt that we wanted to continue to do something to celebrate Black lives and Black culture, so we will be again bringing those pieces to the forefront and continuing our research about them so that we can all continue to learn and to grow. Instead of doing a demo with those videos, we'll actually be doing book reviews by various Black authors. I really love to read, and it's one of my ways to learn and experience different forms of art. Creative writing is, it's creative, it's a form of art. And some of the authors that we have lined up are actually local, so that's pretty exciting. Mac's is going to be doing some interviews, and we might even be doing some giveaways of those books. So yeah, we just want to keep you updated, and I hope you stay in tune, whether you're going to be continuing to social distance, or maybe you're going to be in class this semester, or kind of doing a mixture of both. We want to continue to be here for you. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys have a great weekend.